Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today, Alex and I are having a bit of a bittersweet recording, talking about some of the titles that are going to be leaving Manta. They have renamed this section of Manta down at the bottom. So it used to be leaving soon. And now it's leaving subscription, read now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice that they're flagging what titles aren't renewing their contracts so people can try to rush and read them. But I will say, I did not have a bunch of advance notice about some titles that I was genuinely wanting to read. So it was a little bit of a rush. But in this section now, there are a couple of really good titles, including some of the ones that we're going to discuss today. But there are a few that are leaving that we've already read and discussed at least briefly here on the podcast. So first, we want to flag Moonrise by the Cliff, which is leaving the subscription. Hopefully, it will be staying as a paid story because even with the cost of gems, this is one we highly recommend reading. But Moonrise by the Cliff is a romance drama with 75 episodes, and it's leaving on November 28th. So you have time. You have time.
Read it now, people.
Read it now, people. Read it again.
Read it again.
Read it like several times like I have.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely a comfort read. But also, this is one that we've discussed on the podcast. If you want more information about it, you can go back to our recording in September of last year, 2023, in the Moonrise by the Completed Series episode. We go in depth, talk about the story, and if it's something you're interested in and you want more information, you can get some there.
Yeah. So the other one that I had previously read is called My High School Romance. It's a boy love drama, and it leaves on October 23rd, so a little bit less time, but still some time. There are 106 episodes to this one, but it's a little bit shorter. And this is the one that reads like a book. If you'll remember me saying that, I read a couple that were like that. It's not a scroll, so you have to actually go through each page. So it's shorter.
Nice.
We talked about this one last year as well in the year-end review. Since it was a year-end review and we were talking about a lot of series, we didn't go into depth, or at least I didn't go into depth. But it's pretty good. It's not one of my favorites. It's not memorable. Like, I can't pick out something to tell you that I liked about it, but I know that I liked it when I was reading it.
Yeah. If you're looking for something to read, it could be a nice push to try something new there.
Yeah.
But I will say, with the changing of the titles, it makes me hopeful that some of these series will stay because I know that we're seeing a lot of good series leaving the subscription. So it's a concern for everybody. I also know through the grapevine, the nicest grapevine ever, the Manta Reddit, that we are also potentially looking at them taking away the free daily passes for non-subscribers. So we don't have a bunch of information on that, just kind of saw that pop up. And there's a notification on even some of their original titles, like Under the Oak Tree, just saying that their fast passes will expire this month after a lot of consideration. I think it's kind of sad that they're steering away from being able to offer those titles to more people.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I know that the gems have shaken everybody up, so
It has brought a few of our favorite series back, though.
this is true. It has, but for gems only.
For gems only.
I will say, when you find a good story, it's worth every penny. I
Yeah.
know, like, I'm still currently subscribed to several Patreon, and I do enjoy owning different stories. I own different stories on different platforms, even. So I'm not opposed to buying one again.
Will you buy My Red String of Fate?
I've already considered it. I'm just trying to decide what platform I want to buy it on.
Yeah, it's on a few, so you have
I
options.
have options.
That's one I think would be a good physical book as well. They should do a physical one.
They can take all of my money. There are so many. I say it every time. Like, there are very few webcomics that I would get in print. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I would definitely get All Colors of Snow.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I would also get Ghost Nocturne. Oh, wait, I'd get Painter of the Night.
Yes.
And
Painter
then
of the Night, there is a physical copy. It is just in Korean, not English.
I'm just saying we should probably learn Korean.
We probably should.
Where's our dedication to the craft? But anyways, today we will be talking about a few of the stories that are also on this leaving subscription read now list. A few of them, unfortunately, are not going to be an option for you to read anymore, as One of them has already left. However, we'll be discussing it, letting you know if it was worth reading in case it comes back for gems later and it's something you're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So to start us out, I'm going to be talking about I Work at a Witch's Mansion. This was a drama witch. That's the genres that they gave us. Drama witch completed series with 36 episodes. This left on October 7th. So literally 2 days ago, unfortunately for everybody. But it could be coming back as a paid or gem series, or maybe will pop up on a platform somewhere else. This is an all ages webcomic, and that is a little bit out of the ordinary for me. So I'm patting myself on the back. But the story is extremely cute. So we are starting out with our main character, Elena. She dreams of becoming an actress because she had grown up on the streets as an orphan, just trying to make ends meet, working all these odd jobs. And this beautiful woman walked up to her and gave her a ticket to the theater and said, you know, the theaters can inspire the mind, things like that. And so Elena gets to go to this theater and see this show, Violetta, which basically changes her life. Mm-hmm. She is just so inspired and enamored. And she basically clings to this girl, Liza, who works in this theater troupe that put on the production, and basically becomes an assistant for her. So she starts doing her laundry and cleaning up the dressing room. And she does this for years because she's just so inspired. She's hoping that if she stays close to the theater, one day she could get her shot at becoming an actress as well. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Liza is not a very good person. So Elena clings to her and is hoping that this might be her big break. And she thinks Liza is also a bit of a friend. They grow really close. But the theater troupe is actually getting closed down. And Liza plays kind of a mean prank on Elena, telling her, oh, I'll teach you how to be an actress. You can come to the next practice. And then when Elena shows up, they're shutting down the entire theater.
Aww.
And Liza's like, you thought that you had a chance at being an actress. How ridiculous. So Elena's heartbroken. And when she goes to the town center, she gets to see this man who says, if you're looking for a job and you're, you know, out of work, then if you go a little further south, there's this witch's mansion that you could work at. And she goes, there's no way it's a witch. Like, that's ridiculous. So since she has crushed dreams and no job, she takes him up on that, you know, suggestion. And she travels by train and gets there. And they kind of point out, and it's this like dreary looking mansion. Like, literally imagine all of the thunder and lightning coming down on one specific spot. But she has nothing else to continue with. So she just kind of pours her whole soul into continuing on and going towards the mansion. And as she approaches it, this girl is running away from the mansion in a maid's outfit covered in what looks like blood. And she's just like losing her mind. She goes, I can't stay here. And she whips her head around to see what she was running away from. And this silver-haired woman is standing over her and goes to say something and then collapses on top of her. And you see that she had a bottle of wine in hand. It wasn't blood that was on the maid that ran away. It was wine. Mm-hmm. And the woman has wine all over her too.
Oh, no.
And this housekeeper approaches her and says, oh, are you here to work? Because we actually just have an opening because that girl who left worked here. So come on in. And she learns that the madam of the house is the woman that passed out on top of her. Mm-hmm. So great first impressions. It's going really well for them. But Elena, again, doesn't really have anything else lined up for herself. And she finds out that if she stays for 3 months to work as an attendant for the madam, that the head housekeeper will pay her almost triple what she could make anywhere else at like an affluent job. And then they'll just keep doubling the pay for every month she stays. So she can't really pass it up. She goes, it would be a poor financial decision to say no to this.
If it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
So Elena on and off has some suspicions about the madam because the madam is really angry, like just spiteful, angry, has outbursts out of nowhere, and kind of refuses to get close to anybody, including the housekeeper who's been at the house the entire time the madam has lived there. So she was the housekeeper for the madam's deceased husband, and she was the housekeeper now, like, through after the husband passed away. So Elena's trying to figure out what the madam is up to, and the madam is very hot and cold with her. And the madam says, if you want to gain my favor, you can pick up this weed for me. Like, it's like in the area over here next to the mansion. Go pick this and bring it to me, because she doesn't leave the house. And when she fell on top of her, she injured her ankle. So Elena goes and she's looking for this, and she meets the housekeeper's daughter, who the madam doesn't even know exists. So the madam and the housekeeper, they're not close. You don't know what really happened, but you know that they don't like each other, and there's a lot of animosity. But to the point that the housekeeper has had a daughter since working there with the madam living there, and the madam has no idea.
Is it like actively she's hiding the daughter, or the madam just doesn't pay attention to the point that she doesn't know of the existence?
At this point, we don't know. The madam kind of stays to her room and stays to herself, but she's a little bit of a drunkard, like a lush, and she's noticed the girl, and she goes, oh, is that Sarah's daughter? Well, I didn't know that she had a daughter. I mean, I kind of expected that she was someone's kid because I saw her running around once, but I don't know. So the daughter, who is now grown to be Elena's age, this is how long they've been there, says, oh, what are you doing? And she gets this paper out of Elena's hand, and she goes, that weed is poisonous. So immediately Elena goes, she's trying to poison me, or she's going to make a magic spell and she's going to kill me, you know, and her mind is just going to the worst of expectations. And the daughter, Marie, says, oh, just go pick bitter wolfsbane or whatever it was. And she goes, that one looks similar, but it's not poisonous. It just tastes really gross. So Elena picks that and brings it back to the madam, and the madam goes, this is wrong. I gave you a very detailed description of what to get for me. Why didn't you get it? And Elena falls to the ground and says, please don't kill me. She goes, what magic spell will you put on me? And this really upsets the madam. She has a huge outburst. And you learn that not only is she not a witch, it's just what she's been branded as. It's because her husband and her son died in the plague and she didn't. And so everyone said that she did witchcraft to make it so that her family died and she could have everything to herself.
That sounds very Salem witch trials.
Yeah, very Salem witch trials. So she's basically just a shut-in. And you start to gather all this information because Elena really starts to grow fond of her, realizes that the madam feels trapped in this house, and she doesn't know why the madam doesn't explore out and about or anything like that, but the madam has this outburst with her and says, I don't have to explain myself to you. Why do you need to know what I'm using that weed for? It's actually to make medicine for myself because I injured my ankle, and it helps with pain medicine. Like, it's an ingredient in the pain medicine that I would make to put on my ankle. And she goes, it's only poisonous if you eat the roots. So she starts explaining this, and Elena feels really guilty for immediately jumping to conclusions. And the madam says, you can make it up to me by finding this green necklace in the storehouse. And if you don't come back with that green necklace, you can just leave for good. Don't even bother coming back. And you find out that the madam did this and like purposefully sent her to the storehouse, even though the necklace she's looking for is in the madam's room.
Oh, no.
So Elena goes to look for it, and Sarah, the housekeeper, comes up and asks where Elena is and why she's not doing her job. She goes, oh, she won't be coming back because she'll never find that necklace in the storehouse. And Sarah goes, the one that we're condemning because it's falling apart and she can't go inside because it will crumble on top of her. And the madam feels so guilty. She runs out of the house. It's her first time out of the house in like 12 years. And she runs out of the house to go find Elena, fearing that she just sent her to her death. And Elena fell asleep in the house. She just got tired, and she fell asleep on a bed in the storehouse and was perfectly fine.
People who can fall asleep anywhere just amaze me. I cannot.
Teach me your ways.
Teach me your ways.
She's the real witch. She knows. But Elena apologizes for not finding the necklace, and the madam actually just hugs her and says she's glad that she's safe. And in this moment, they grow really close. But Elena just becomes very fond of her. She never really had a mom. She never really got close with many people. And she does have a little bit of anxiety around forming those close relationships because she thought she was close with Liza, and Liza really screwed her over in the end.
Yeah.
So the madam and Elena have a lot in common because they both kind of have trust issues, which kind of forces them to lean on each other a little bit more. But one day the housekeeper leaves and this man, Julian Osborne, comes to visit the mansion, and he kind of busts his way through. He goes, "Oh, Sarah isn't here. Thank God I can actually roam around now." And so you automatically get suspicious of this man, who points out a beautiful portrait of the madam before her hair was all silver. She had like beautiful honey brown hair, and Elena is just enamored by her. She's like, wow, this woman was gorgeous. I wonder what happened to make her such a shut-in, you know? Mm-hmm. And Julian Osborne is kind of trying to sneak up the stairs to go see the madam, and Elena's trying to stop him. And he says, "Give this letter to her. I have to go because I can hear Sarah coming." And give that to her. And Elena goes, "What do you want? What are you doing here?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm going to propose to the madam." And then he just runs away past Sarah, who then scolds Elena for letting anybody in while she was out. Mm-hmm. So Elena has no idea what's going on. She does give the letter to the madam, and the madam just kind of blows it off. She's like, "I get invites to go places, but I'm the witch. I can't go." And so Elena finally decides that it's important that the madam gains a life outside of the manor. So she starts sneaking the madam out to walk around the grounds and to go into town. And the madam has a lot of anxiety around this because she's been branded as the witch, and she doesn't want people screaming at her about something that was already traumatic for her in general. But she ends up going, and Elena puts a nice scarf over her head, and nobody notices who she is. And for the first time, she's able to enjoy life outside of that mansion. So when they come back, Sarah scolds them immediately. She goes, "There is no way that you're allowed to take her out of there. Do you know what could have happened? Like, she's been branded as this witch. You can't do that." And Elena feels really guilty, but she's still trying to learn more about the madam because everything's so secretive and she has no idea what's being hidden. Like, there are rooms she's not allowed to go in this mansion. Why is everything so top secret? So Marie ends up stealing keys from her mom as the housekeeper and unlocks this door that they were told never to go in. And it's just this really dusty, dingy room. There are some portraits around, and they end up seeing a portrait of the madam with her deceased husband. And he is significantly older than her. Like, they don't look happy in the portrait, and it just looks wrong. Like, they both point out, like, wow, why was she forced to marry some guy who looks like her dad? But there are all these books around, and Elena's looking around, and she sees this really tattered book that's hidden away, like behind the bookshelf. And she secretly takes it for herself and then goes to read it in her room. And it is an original copy of Violetta, the play that she had seen years back. So she's immediately just enamored, and she's reading the play, and she's memorized every line, every part. She's like acting it out for herself, and knocks over a bunch of furniture in the room. And the madam comes in and asks if she's okay and sees the tattered book. And the madam goes, "Where did you get this?" And Elena tries to cover it up, but the madam takes it and she goes, "Don't disturb me." And Elena immediately thinks she's fucked up. She's like, oh my God, she's going to tell Sarah. Sarah's going to kick me out. I'm never going to be allowed to work here. I really like the madam now, so this sucks. And instead, she goes to bring the madam dinner. And the madam says, "You told me that you knew this play by heart. Can you perform it for me?" And so Elena does a one-woman show of this entire play for her. And the madam at the end is just crying.
That seems like something you would do. A one-person show.
You know. Back in my day. But I will say, Elena does a great job. The madam is crying. And she goes, the only part you didn't reenact is the waltz scene. And Elena says, oh, I never learned how to dance. And she goes, oh, it's really similar to the fight scenes. Do you want me to teach you? And Elena just has this flashback to Liza saying, let me teach you how to be an actress. And Elena goes, no, I'm okay. And she leaves. And the madam is really sad because this is kind of a like sweet moment for her. She lost her kid. She likes Elena. And it just feels like family. And she hasn't felt that connection with somebody in a while. So eventually Elena apologizes and says, based on previous experiences, it just freaked me out, but I do want to learn how to dance. And she teaches her. It's a super sweet moment. Like, it's just like if you danced with your mom. It's just so cute. But you end up seeing that this man, Julian, who had busted into the mansion before, ends up sending one of his assistants to come to the manor to try to get a reply to the letter that was sent. And this man is terrified because he's heard the rumors of the madam being a witch. And Marie and Sarah end up catching this guy, like, lurking outside of the mansion. And they put him in the stables. And they go, the madam will know what to do with you. And instead of saying no to going to this party, the madam says, can I bring a guest? And you see the madam's inner dialogue of saying, I can't hide forever. And I just taught Elena how to dance. Wouldn't that be so nice if she got to go and dance with some young men and like have a young girl's natural like experience? So they're gonna go to this ball and it makes Sarah, the housekeeper, irate. Like constantly you see Sarah just saying, no, you need to stay here.
Is Sarah the real witch?
I mean, what's your definition of witch? Because it's not a supernatural story.
Okay.
But if we're talking witch, like the PG version of a different word I'm thinking of, then yes, Sarah's a bit of a witch. So Sarah gets really mad. And you see that part of the reason that the madam stays inside so long is because Sarah, who worked for the husband, keeps her shut away. So you kind of get the feeling that Sarah is almost the person that's fueling these rumors, keeping her locked up here. And you don't understand why. But as the madam and Elena are getting ready for this party, the madam opens up to Elena and tells her story. And from a young age, the madam was taught to be a noblewoman. It was never something she wanted, and she was a writer. Like, that was what she did in her free time. She wrote stories, she wrote plays, she wrote everything. And she used to leave her house and go sit by this tree that was part of like a vacation home for another family. And the family was almost never there, except one summer she did end up coming across them. And she basically fell in love with the daughter of that family. But they were both engaged to other male suitors and they couldn't really do anything about it. So they formed like this loving friendship that neither of them could really act on. But this woman encouraged her to pursue her dreams and to continue writing. And as she got married into her new family, her husband was extremely awful to her. And that room that Elena broke into is actually the room that her husband used to lock her into to force her to write, and he would take credit for everything that she made.
Aww.
So you find out that she's always basically been locked up in this mansion, and it's almost Sarah continuing on what her old master used to do by keeping her locked away still. So in her master passing away, it's almost like a punishment to her for not having her husband around, though she can't control the plague, but whatever. So the madam and Elena go to this party, and the madam's again really nervous because she hasn't ventured out too much, but having Elena there as a motivator to go to this party has been extremely helpful for her. So they go, and who else is at the party but not only a talent scout for a bunch of different up-and-coming artists, because all of these noblemen and women are looking for artists of any kind to sponsor. So the madam ends up encouraging Elena to go and do a performance for everybody and says, you're wonderful. You'll do a great job. Everyone will want to know who you are and you deserve your big break. And as this is happening, the madam looks over and sees the woman that she had fallen in love with across the room. And before they can approach each other, all of the people recognize her as the witch and basically chase her out of this ballroom. And Elena is in the middle of doing an acting like demonstration, but she runs out as soon as she sees the madam leave and she chases after her. So the madam kind of has this outburst and says, you belong here. This is your big break. You deserve this. And I can't give you anything that you need. And Elena is trying to have this deep moment. She's always lost in thought about like what would be just the most impactful, dramatic moment in a play. And she goes, madam, with her eyes closed. She goes, you've given me everything. And she opens her eyes and the carriage is gone and the madam has left. So she goes and pays this other carriage driver with the expensive necklace she had on to take her back to the mansion. And you see that when they get back to the mansion, the cook and Sarah and Marie, everybody has cleared out of the mansion. Like almost out of anger that the madam decided to finally like live her life and leave. And so the madam just feels so broken about the whole thing. And you see that Elena is following in right after her and says, this is us being able to make a fresh start. And you have me. And the madam goes, why are you being so nice? And then it's revealed that Elena has recognized the madam as the woman who gave her the ticket in the very beginning to Violetta, because the madam is the original author of Violetta.
Oh my gosh.
And she goes, you've given me everything. You are everything.
Aww.
So it flashes forward 3 years later and you see them living their happiest life. Elena was discovered and she gets to be a part of the theater. And the madam is working with Julian, who actually is more of like a lawyer. And he was working because he knew that the madam was the author of all these stories. Mm-hmm. He couldn't come around when Sarah was there because Sarah was the person trying to keep her down. And he's now working with the madam to get her all of the rights of her works back so that she can be recognized as the author and the writer for all of these plays.
So he didn't really want to marry her?
No, he didn't.
Aw.
He just wanted to help. But he's played off as a playboy. He's a pretty fun character. But in the end, Elena goes off to her practice and then she's chasing back after the carriage. And she goes, I almost forgot something. And she gives the madam a ticket to her play. And she goes, I hope you'll see me.
Aw, full circle moment.
Full circle. It was so cute. The whole story, start to finish, it was just so candy sweet. I loved every minute of it. The characters were adorable, and I highly recommend it.
This feels like the ultimate don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah. Because from looking at the cover, not even the description, I would never guess that this was a sweet story.
I know. It looked really dark and menacing.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to. There are definitely darker themes throughout it, but Elena is such a good comic relief throughout the whole story. And you really do see those parallels of the madam is definitely the person rumored to be the witch. Mm-hmm. But Sarah and all of these people who have kept her in the shadows are the real evil throughout the story. So I loved it. It was such a great story. It was a super quick read. I'm sad that it left before everybody else could read it for free on the subscription. Or I guess not free, but if you have the subscription, you know, it doesn't cost you any extra. But if it comes back for gems and coins, it would be probably pretty cheap to unlock at 36 episodes.
Yeah.
And it really is a sweet story. I highly recommend it.
That's great. If it comes back, maybe I'll read it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one that I'm talking about today is called Master of the Wind and Moon. So we all know anything with the title Moon in it, and I'm instantly like, I'm reading this. This is a story on Manta. It is leaving on November 6th. There are 45 episodes, and it is a boy love drama. So
we've never read one of those.
Never read one of those. It's historical too, so I mean,
I have to read it
this
now.
is basically like a brand new genre for us.
I know. We've never.
So this one is about a world where women actually have a lot more power. Not than men, but like they have equal power, basically. Yeah. So they're not looked down on or second-class citizens or anything like that. So this means that there are male courtesan houses as well as female ones. So this story takes place at the male courtesan house, Unru. The male courtesans are called Pungwal, which is the master of the wind and moon. So this city is basically in the sky. So they call it the Cloud City, basically. Not like in a Star Wars way.
So specific.
Well, I mean, Cloud City is in Star Wars.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's also at work, technically, depending on where you work, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
R.I.P.
So we start off the story with a man named Yol, and you see him automatically interacting with some of the other Pungwals who are around him, one of them being Sadam, and they're playing a prank on Sadam. And so you kind of see them just laughing and having a good time. They're just like hanging out. So it's basically like a peek behind the curtain situation. So then we see that Yol is the queen's favorite. I don't think that's something you want to be. And actually, I know it's something you don't want to be because I know the story. So
not a great queen.
Yeah, there are rumors about her that she's just, and actually there are more than rumors because she's just evil. Don't like the queen.
Okay.
Anyway,
we hate the queen.
We hate the queen. And so does her aunt. So her aunt also goes there with just another group of women, and they're all talking and just hanging out. They basically go in and like pick the guys that they want to hang out with them, and there are different levels. So when you get there, you're just learning, you don't interact with anyone, and you have a teacher. Then you graduate, you kind of help the main Pungwal, and you go from there and basically just like live your life. They get people who are not living the best life, and they just kind of take them and say, we will give you a good life. We'll give you a roof over your head. You'll never go hungry, all of that. So they're all coming in because of that. So we see that Yol goes to meet with the queen. Sadam does not like this. He's not happy about it because you see that they've been friends since childhood, and they came here together. And you learn why they came together later. But there's another guy, Yandu, and he comes in to not comfort Sadam, but basically just ask him, like, why haven't you graduated to the top level? You've been here much longer than some of the other guys, but you're not graduating. You don't get the, like, extra special stuff. When you're at the top, you get jewels, you get clothing, you get special food, all of that stuff that the women basically just give you as, like, here's your favor.
Yeah.
And so Yandu, like, doesn't get it. He's like, why would you not want to be at the top level? And Sadam basically just says that as long as he's with Yol, he's happy. So that's like where we start off. We see that they're basically already in love. It's super cute. So Yandu is like, nope, I'm going to bring you into this group of women with me, and we're all going to talk. You see him whisper in the aunt's ear, basically, and you don't really know what he says at first, but then they're playing a dice game, and you find out that Sadam can't read. So for the dice game, they just keep telling him, oh, this one means you have to drink 2 shots. This one means you have to drink 1 shot. And so they're just trying to get him drunk, and it works. He gets drunk. We kind of cut to Yal and the queen, and you see that she's like covered in blood almost all the time. It's never really explained. Like, at first I was thinking, okay, she's just covered in the blood of her enemies, but then they almost imply that it's like a skin condition, but it's never clarified.
You know what's curious? They also do blood as part of the treatment for the brother in the Taming the Tiger. So maybe it's like a historical reference we're not understanding.
She is weak and sick. So that's like where everyone's at right now. There's a lot of flashback and flash forward, so I'll try and like note when we're flashing back and forward. So now we flash back and we see when Sadam and Yol actually meet, and Yol is the son of a master, so he's like at the top of the food chain, and Sadam is not. He's an orphan, and he's basically all on his own. Yol is in school learning, whatever they teach in school. We've all been there. It's true.
They learn what you learn in school. The things and
the stuff. Yeah, so they're in school, and y'all sees through the window that Saddam is just sitting outside of the window, just trying to hear so that he can learn anything.
Aww.
And so you see that after class is over, y'all goes to find Saddam and is like, what are you doing sitting outside of the window? Why don't you come in and learn? And he kind of says, I'm not allowed to, gives his reason and everything. He says that the reason he wants to learn how to read is because when he was a baby and left at the orphanage, he was left with a note. And the people at the orphanage told him that it meant something, and he kind of wants to see if they're telling the truth or not. Mm-hmm. So he wants to learn how to read. He gives this note to y'all, and you actually see that his name, Saddam, means to throw away one's belongings. And y'all is his inner monologue is saying, I don't want to tell people, or I don't want to tell Saddam this. So he says that it is to pick up things that have been discarded. So a little bit of a white lie there. That kind of kicks off their friendship. Then we just see that throughout the years, they kind of grow close. Almost like a Where the Crawdads Sing moment, where the guy is teaching her how to read and all of that stuff. And then she teaches him stuff too. So it's like that situation. Saddam is teaching Yol how to catch frogs. Yol is teaching Saddam how to read and write, all that stuff. Then we see they're kind of just hanging out one day. They go back to Yol's house, and it's on fire. And there is a man that they can see through the, how there's the screen? Mm-hmm. So you can see him through the screen. He's got his sword, and he is killing the whole family. Oh. And so Saddam is okay, we have to get out of here. So he pulls Yol away, and Yol kind of has a mental breakdown, as you would. Yeah. So he's saying, they killed my whole family. What's the point of living? I should die with them. That's the honorable thing to do. They find out that the reason that the family was killed is because his father, who was a master, was accused of being a traitor against the queen. And so all the families who were accused of being traitors were kind of killed on the same day as an ambush. Mm-hmm. Y'all is my father would not do this. I know he wasn't a traitor. This is not right. And so Saddam kind of uses that not against him, but uses that to say you should try and clear your family's name. If you die here and now, then there will be no one to carry on your legacy, no one to correct what is being falsely said about you and your family right now. Yeah. And so they kind of just move on with life. You see now they're both living on the streets and just supporting each other. And we actually have a little bit of a funny moment where Yel is trying to beg people please give me money. Mm-hmm. And no one gives it to him. So he goes back to Saddam and he's I'm really bad at this. And Saddam is yeah, you are. Let me show you. So then it gets sad because Saddam goes and he goes up to this guy and he's hey, do you have any tasks that I can do? And the guy ends up saying yes, if you give me your body, then I will give you money. So he does that, and then he comes back to Yal with a huge basket of food, and they share it, but Yal does not want to eat it because he knows what happened. He can see bruises on Saddam's arms and kind of around his neck, and he just feels heartbroken that he can't contribute and can't help. Mm-hmm. And this is a pivotal moment for him where he says, I'm not going to let this continue. Saddam has taken care of me all this time. I'm going to step up and take care of him. So he goes to these two men who are walking through the town, and he says the same thing as Saddam to that other man. And the two guys say, okay, come with us and everything will be taken care of. And it's the people who run the Unruh courtesan house. So he says, okay, well, let me just go grab my friend. They go move to this city in the sky. Mm-hmm. We hop back in time. So now we're present day again. Mm-hmm. And we see that Eugen, he is the kind of head Pongwal. He's not the tip top of the food chain, but he's kind of one step down. So he controls everybody, but there's still someone above him who controls the entire village. Mm-hmm. He goes up to Yandu and says, I know that it's your fault that Saddam is drunk, because you see that Saddam has not attacked the women, but he's kind of gotten like loud and he's having a disagreement with them, and you're supposed to not do that because this is how you're making money.
Yeah.
And it makes the house look bad and everything. So they take him away. They're like, we're so sorry that he is kind of being really rowdy. And so he goes back to his room, and Eugen is like, I know that this was you doing this. Like, you need to stop causing trouble. And then we see that he wants to be a Pungwal, so he's trying to like basically make his way to the top using the queen's aunt. Then he's eventually going to get to the queen. He's just like, you know, he wants all the jewels, he wants all the power and everything. Eugen eventually tells him like, that's all fine and good, but I don't know, just watch out, you know. So we move on from that, and Yael kind of goes back to Saddam, sees that he's drunk, and is like, what happened? Talks to a couple of other people who are around and says like, he should not be drinking. I need to protect him. And you kind of see them just have this little moment where Yael is like, I'll protect you. And they end up deciding that they want to leave together. So you see that Saddam kind of realizes that the same thing that happened to him when they were younger is now happening to Yael, because he has to be with the queen whenever the queen comes. She won't be with anyone else.
Is this kind of like a power play thing? Does she know that Yael is part of a family that was marked as traitors?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think so. So the man at the top, his name is San. He has another name, but just to keep everything even, I'm gonna call him San throughout. He's the overseer, and he is the one who's going to the queen, and he runs this place. So this is like a queen run place almost.
Okay.
So San knows that Yael is from one of those families. They never say if the queen does or not, but you find out why he was picked later.
Okay.
So more to come on that. We flash back again, and this time we are seeing the queen from her point of view as a younger lady as well. And she's kind of listening in to the head people of the emperor, and he is dying. So there are 6 Weebakes, and they're kind of discussing and saying, okay, we need to keep the bloodline pure. That's in so many different historical stories, and they call this the sacred bone. So people who are of this line are considered to be sacred bone. If you are half of the main bloodline and then someone else, then you're called true bone.
Okay.
And they don't want you to be a ruler then.
Okay.
So there's kind of a difference of opinions here. They're going back and forth because we find out that the emperor had a child with his sister so that he can keep the line pure. Yeah.
Gosh, I know that it's a thing that happened.
Yeah.
Not my favorite.
No, not a great.
Wish they just kept that to themselves.
Yeah. No.
I didn't need to know.
Well, it doesn't work out for them because they say that he's basically like mentally unstable. He is not fit to rule, but half of the people are like, it doesn't matter if he's fit to rule or not. He needs to be the emperor. And the other half are like, no, the queen needs to be at the top because she actually knows what she's talking about. And the people who want the emperor's son to take power, they're like, we're gonna rule and use him as a figurehead. The queen overhears this and she immediately goes into action. She goes to San, who is one of the members of this group and is on her side. And she basically says, we need to kill them all. We need to get rid of all of them because there can be no opposition to me. I need to be the one to take over.
Yeah.
And so you see that they're forming a plan to kind of overtake so that the queen can be into power. You also see at this time that San is going to accuse the rest of the members of treason. And this is why Yael's father died, because he was a part of this whole group. So you see that he wasn't really a traitor. It was all just to get the queen in power. And with that, you also find out that San is in love with the queen. This is why he agreed to this plan to accuse everyone of treason and kill everyone. And the queen told him that it would just be the actual members of the council who were going to die. After the fact, he finds out that their families also died. His wife and son were a part of this. His house was on fire, so he goes to the queen and he says, I thought that it was just going to be the council members. You told me that the families would be okay. And he's upset because it's his wife, but it was an arranged marriage, so he's not in love with his wife, but he does have love for her, and he loves his son as well. So we kind of cut again back to the present. There's a lot of jumping around here. So you just see that that's like what's going on with San, the overseer, and kind of where the queen gets her bad reputation from.
It's warranted.
Then when we jump back to the present, Yondu goes to the aunt and tries to get her to crown him. And it kind of backfires on him because the aunt is like, yes, I want to crown someone. And he's like, oh, great. I'm going to be crowned. I'm moving up in the world. Yeah. And it ends up being Saddam who he wants to crown. When Yal hears this, he kind of goes crazy. He runs into the room. He barges in. He basically says, this is not happening. We are leaving. And then they kind of put their plan into motion of being serious about leaving. So they're planning and plotting right now to leave. So we flash back again to when Yal meets the queen. And you see that he doesn't realize that he's meeting the queen the first time that he runs into her. And he says, you can't be in here. She's in a restricted area. And the queen is like, who are you to tell me what to do? Leaves, and he gets kind of reprimanded by his teacher. And then later, the queen calls him in and says, I want that one. And you see that the reason that the queen loves him and chooses him every time is because he treats her like a normal person. She says, no one has said my name the way that you say my name in a very long time. And that's why I want you to be around. So then we jump back to the present again. She's with Yal again. When they're together, she faints, and so they call in a doctor. The doctor tells everyone that she's pregnant with Yal's baby.
Horrifying.
Yeah. Yal's not happy about this. She has a plan to bring Yal to the palace and marry him and make him her husband. So at the same time that the queen is finding out that she's pregnant, we see that Yondu is in the room where Saddam is being crowned, and he sees Yal come in and put a stop to it. And that kind of piques his interest because he thinks, okay, he wouldn't do that, and I know that Saddam said that he's happy as long as Yal's happy. He's thinking, okay, they must have a secret relationship, and I'm gonna go tell the queen, and then the queen is going to reward me and want me to be the one that serves her now.
It's nice to be delusional.
He is a rat.
Yeah, he's a little snitch.
He's a little snitch in the story. So Yujin runs into him and kind of asks what he's planning. This is multiple times that this is happening, and he says, there's no way that it's just about you wanting a better status here. I see revenge in your eyes. Something else is going on. Tell me what it is. You find out that Yondu is San's baby who wasn't killed.
Oh my gosh.
So he wants to kill everyone. He wants everyone dead. He wants San dead.
He wants everyone dead.
He wants everyone dead. Almost immediately after he finds this out, Yondu goes to the queen and says what he knows, that Yal and Saddam are in a relationship. And the queen is not happy about this because she wants Yal to herself and is thinking Saddam is not going to be in the picture. We have to get rid of him. After this happens, the queen says, okay, yeah, I will use your body, because Yondu, of course, is like, okay, now that we've got y'all out of the way, you can use me. I'll take one for the team. So the queen is like, yeah, okay, get on the ground, and has San cut his head off.
Well, at least he won't be scheming anymore.
Yeah, so he's dead.
A little.
A little dead. San doesn't know that it's his son still at this point. I don't think it would have changed anything, but he doesn't know.
Yeah, they work really closely together. He probably still would have done it.
Yeah. Then, After that happens, Yal goes back to Saddam and he thinks, okay, we have to leave. We're putting this plan into motion now. We're getting out of here. Then they go to Saddam and Yal and put them in separate places. They take Yal to the Queen's annex and not lock him up there, but put a guard so he's not allowed to leave. Mm-hmm. They take Saddam to like a storage closet and they put him there because Yal is seen as being better because he is the one that the Queen is interested in. Ugh. Then they don't know why they're being separated or why this is happening. So their friends kind of go to Saddam and say what is happening. And throughout the whole time, Saddam has been using his free time to sew some clothes. And you see that the reason he's sewing clothes is once when they were younger and they were living on the streets, they would go to people's houses and take some of their laundry. Mm-hmm. And they always took the items that were the most worn or that they thought wouldn't be missed. And Saddam sees an item. He's like, oh, this is old. We can take this. This is perfect for us to take. And Yal is like, no, we can't take this one because it's got writing on it. And you see that it has like a love poem on it, basically. He says, this is sentimental. We can't take that. And Saddam makes him a promise there that he's going to make him clothes with writing on it one day. So you see him making those clothes in his little makeshift jail cell. The Queen has gone back to her palace. She is still delusional, thinking that Yal is going to be her husband. So she's making him a coat as well. And you just see them kind of compare. Like, they're doing the same thing, but, you know, it all looks different and everything. Basically, they're all going for his love. Mm-hmm. San tells Eugen who Yal is and who his family was, and you see that Eugen is the one who killed the rest of Yal's family. He feels incredibly guilty about this, so he goes to Yal and says, I will get you a boat so that you guys can run away. Aww. Yal is like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get Saddam to do this because Saddam has been approached by the Queen and she tells Saddam, you need to back off. If you don't, then you're going to die and Yal's going to die because if I can't be with him, then he can't be alive. So he's kind of gone on his own way and is trying to get Yal to marry the Queen just for everybody. Yeah. And Yal is like, I'm not doing this. We are running away together. He convinces Saddam to run away with him again. Unfortunately for us, the Queen finds out about this plan, and she goes to Saddam again and says, if you don't go away, then Yal is going to die. And he's still planning on going down to the boats. So,
I mean, technically that's him leaving.
Yeah, technically it is. So you see that Yal is going to confront the Queen. Mm-hmm. And Saddam has gotten out of his makeshift prison. You see him walking through the woods, and they're both going to the boat. Then you find out that Saddam does not go to the boat. Instead, he goes and jumps off a cliff.
No!
I know. And I was hoping throughout this that it was going to be one of those situations where, like a Romeo and Juliet, where he doesn't actually die, but he actually dies. So Eugen goes and tells Yal about this. The Queen tells Yal, now that Saddam's out of the way, you can come with me. And Yal says, I will not come with you. He's wearing the jacket that Saddam gave him. Yal takes a sword, and you see that he is planning on killing the Queen at first. Mm-hmm. Once he finds out all of this about Saddam, he decides that he's going to die as well. So he forces the Queen to kill him. She doesn't want to. She wants to live her delusional happy life where he is her husband and they have a baby. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen.
He can't give her that satisfaction.
Yeah. The aunt, we haven't talked about her in a while. She's back. She overheard that the Queen overtook everything and had everyone killed as being traitors, but they weren't actually traitors. When she finds this out, she goes and grabs her own soldiers and says, I'm going to overtake the kingdom now because it's not your rightful place. So it's going to be my rightful place now. San can hear that the boats are coming. And he tells the queen, the boats are coming. We have to leave. We have to get out of here. Y'all is dead. You need to leave him behind. We have to move. So he formulates his own plan. He tells everyone on the island, you all go. You're free now. And you must never talk about this again. So they all go on boats. They're just leaving. The queen is gone. When they get there, they confront San. And San says, you're too late. Everyone's gone. And then he kills himself and he's got a lighter. And you see, well, not a lighter. He's got fire. And when he kills himself, that falls to the ground and the whole place goes up.
Jesus.
So the tragic part of the story is that the queen kind of wins.
That is tragic.
Yeah.
You know what, though? Probably not inaccurate.
Probably not. But we do get our own little version of a happy ending because after you see the queen win, you see that she has had her son. And people still think she's crazy because she is.
Okay, I was going to say, that's a correct perception.
Yeah. So we see Y'all and Saddam reunite as spirits, and they're together again. And then there are a few bonus episodes at the end, and it's flash forward to current day, and they're in high school, and they meet again in high school. So it's basically a fated love there.
Oh, I do love that.
I love this story so much.
It sounds heart-wrenching.
It's so heartbreaking. I told you about this already, but I was doing the smack the ghost in your room in the arm meme for this because when Saddam is actually going to the cliffs instead of going to meet Y'all on the boat, that is just the most gut-wrenching moment. And then when you see Y'all kill himself too, it's just so tragic. It's heartbreaking. And you never want the villain to win.
No.
And it feels like the villain wins, even though they do throw on the couple little happy endings there. And I'm glad that they did that.
Yeah.
It still feels like the queen won. And San is insane. He has done everything for the queen. And he is obsessed with her. And that's why she won.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's awful. But also, it sounds really good.
It is really good.
I do not have another tragic story to talk about today. So this will be a little bit of like an uplifting story.
Oh, good, because mine is not.
So the next one we're talking about that's on the Leaving Read Soon list is I'm Your Guardian Angel. This was on my New Year's resolution reads. So I had decided I'd be reading this in 2024. And what a better catalyst than seeing it's going to leave in a couple of weeks as you start to look into it in October. So I'm Your Guardian Angel is a romance fantasy. It is a completed series with 104 episodes. This is leaving or becoming a paid or gem-only story as of October 14th. This is also an all-ages version, so another pat on the back for Annie for just coming out of her shell. But this story is so wholesome and cute. I cannot even express to you. I had a smile on my face from start to finish. I love every single character. The story follows Dove. He is an angel born in the celestial realm, but he's different than everybody. He has black hair, black wings, red tint to his eyes, and everyone else has white hair, bright blue eyes, wings. Think like Gojo with wings. Just like perfect beings. And then Dove is there getting bullied for his other appearance, to the point that the other angels or the other celestial beings call him Crow because he looks like a raven. But he kind of takes all of this bullying and internalizes it. And he goes, I'm going to channel this energy and I am going to become an angel before any of them. And I'm going to teach them all a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
You find out that in this world, in order for one of these celestial beings to become a full-fledged angel, they have a pairing with a human in the mortal realm. And they have to help this human by helping them to achieve their happiness. And you don't know what that happiness is that you're helping them work towards. So all of the celestial beings get to go down to the mortal realm, follow their person around, and figure out what it is that they desire and need, so that they can make their wish come true. So Dove goes down to the mortal realm and immediately is able to find his human. Her name is Yena. And unfortunately for Dove, Yena has everything. She has money. Like, her house is gorgeous. Her family is very well off. Her family is very solid and they love and adore her. She has perfect grades. She's good at sports and art and everything that she puts her mind to. She's beautiful, like turning down these different prospects for her to become an idol because she just, I have to focus on school.
I couldn't possibly
add it to the list. And she even has good friends. She has a really good friend named Tahi, and she just really has it all. Everyone loves her. He goes, I'm screwed. I can't possibly make this girl happier. Until he sees that Yena has a crush on somebody that is not returned. So she is in love with this boy named Jihan. He's beautiful white hair, blue eyes. He's so good at soccer, and she chases, like, runs towards the windows to catch a glimpse of him. And she's just fangirling over this senior when she's a junior. And Dove decides, oh, okay, I just have to help her with love. But first I have to figure out what love is, because I have no idea what that is. I've never experienced it. I'm a celestial being. We don't do that. So Dove decides that the way he can get closest to her in order to figure out what it is that she needs, he's going to have to turn into his human form, because even though in his angel form or in his celestial form, he can stay hidden, nobody can see him, he keeps getting attacked by cats. Like, they like the wings. They think he's a giant bird, and so they keep clawing onto him. So he goes, okay, I'm just going to meet her in person and talk to her about what I can do to make her happy. So this immediately makes him fall on his face because Dove has no tact, has no idea what he's doing as a human. Think like deer for the first time walking. He's wobbly. He doesn't know what's going on, very disoriented. And as Yena is watching Jihan, that's his name, as she's watching Jihan play soccer, he runs up to her and grabs her arm and he goes, how can I make you happy? And she's terrified. She reports him to a teacher and he gets kicked off the campus. They're like, I don't know what school you're a part of, but you better leave. So Dove comes back the next time and he's following Yena around and he goes, okay, I really just need to figure out how to help her. And as he continues to observe her in his celestial form, he sees that Yena brushes up against Jihan and she just goes ballistic. She's blushing everywhere. She's smiling. She goes, oh, it's that easy. I just have to make them touch each other. Mm-hmm. So Dove starts following her around and pushing her into Jihan. And you just hear Jihan go, stop it. And Dove looks around. He goes, there's no way he's talking to me because he's a human and he can't see me in my celestial form. And slowly, as he continues to push Yena into him and make all of these, false little moments for them, Jihan finally looks over and says, you need to stop. I told you to stop getting involved. And Dove gets so confused. He goes, who is this person? How can he see me in my celestial form? And it turns out that it was one of Dove's only friends who had left the celestial realm far before he did. And his name is Prim. And he is one of those ideal angels, but he had left the celestial realm so much sooner than Dove did.
Yeah.
So he goes, how are you here? Why are you still here? You haven't achieved your angelic status yet. Jihan says, mind your own business. I'm here incognito as a human. And so Dove goes, oh, well, then you can teach me what love is. And Jihan just goes, well, it's not pushing a girl down the stairs into me. Like, that's not what that is. So he goes, the best way for you to figure out what love is to talk with her and be a part of this mortal world. And so you should stop acting as a celestial being and try to get close to her. Not in some creepy, weird way, but actually approaching her as like a regular person. So Jihan, or Prim, helps Dove to create this human persona for himself named Dowa Seo. And he takes on this human form and says that he's Jihan's little brother. So he introduces himself to Yena, says, oh, I'm Dowa Seo, and I'm the little brother of Jihan. And she immediately recognizes him as the creepo who just grabbed onto her and said, how can I make you happy? And so when she asks him what the hell he was thinking and tells him he's a creep, she tells him fuck off. And literally Dowa, or Dove, leaves the room, goes and finds Jihan and says, hey, Jihan, during his class, what does fuck off mean? And the teacher goes, who is this? And he goes, oh, it's my little brother, but he lived with my aunt and uncle in this little tiny town that no one's ever heard of. Let me help him. It's fine. And so Jihan kind of starts scheming with them and says, oh, Yena, this is my little brother, and he was homeschooled. He's just a little different. But, you know, I just want to make sure that he has somebody looking out for him. Can you help? And she immediately says yes, because it's Jihan asking for a favor. She goes, oh, this will win me brownie points if I help his little brother. And Dowa continues to make these little moves on her. So he just goes, I love when you smile. Will you smile for me? Will you do all of these beautiful, amazing things? How can I make you happy? I think I like you. And she just goes, that's not how you act when you first meet somebody. So she very quickly starts to teach him what it's like to have normal human relationships and friendships in general. And Taehi, her best friend, immediately ships the two of them. She sees Dowa fawning all over Yena, and Yena kind of shutting it down in a very tsundere fashion. And so Taehi decides to embarrass Yena and says the only reason that Yena likes your brother Jihan is because he looks like the character in a webcomic she reads. And I felt personally victimized. But immediately Dowa goes, oh, you like webcomics? I don't know what that is. And Yena is mad at her friend for outing her, but is immediately distracted by the fact that she wants to talk about the webcomic she loves with somebody. So she tells Dowa to read it, and he stays up the entire night reading the entire series. And she asks what he thinks the next day, and he goes, oh, I don't like it. It's really boring. But she takes note really quickly that she made one mention of this webcomic. He immediately read the entire thing for her, to the point he was so tired he fainted and like passed out asleep and had to go to the nurse's office because he had exhausted himself so much. So she goes and checks on him, and she is really just a fan of the fact that he's willing to put in all of that effort for her. So they do end up hanging out a few different times. They go to an arcade together, and they start to get pretty close. But Dove is getting this weird feeling that he wants to be with Yena more. He wants to spend more time. He goes, my breathing and my heartbeat gets weird and it's funky. I don't know, like something's off. And Jihan definitely notes that he's getting some feelings for her. And he goes, yeah, you need to stop that right now. Like, I'm telling you, it'd be bad to set her up with me because I'm not doing it. Like, I will not date her because I don't like humans in the first place. But you can't fall in love with her because you also want to become an angel. That's your entire goal. And if you sit there and date her to make her happy, then you're going to end up having to leave her. And then that will make her unhappy. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So Dove is trying to be cautious in his human form as Dowa, but he honestly just can't help it. He's not very smart, so she's tutoring him. And he'll make these comments, but is also so clueless that sometimes he'll wear a sweatshirt that she also wore, but not realize that it kind of means that he's trying to be a couple with her. And he asked her out the one time and she said no, but now she's like wondering when he's going to ask her out again. Mm-hmm. And it just goes way over his head. He's just so in his own little world. And he doesn't understand all of the human customs and the caveats that go along with it. So finally, since Dove is studying for his final exams, he tells Yena, I want you to help me because I see the way that you smile at my brother, and I want you to smile at me like that. So I want to do really well on these exams so I can make you happy and proud. Mm-hmm. And finally, she just goes, I like you. Like, we should date each other. And he goes, oh, okay. He's like, maybe. And then as they're studying together, he just keeps staring at her. And as they leave their study session, he goes, I get it. This is love. I love you. And they're not even really dating. And she's so taken aback. But they end up getting the top scores for their class and they win tickets to the aquarium. So they go on their own little aquarium date and it's really sweet. He ends up buying her this hat that's like a limited edition character that he won her a plushie for at the arcade. And she goes, you remembered I like this character. And everyone at the arcade watches them. They go, oh my God, they're the cutest couple. And, everyone is watching and almost realizes what Yena has before she does. Like at multiple points, Dove or Dowa makes comments like, oh yeah, I was bullied in school and I just had no friends. And the entire class gives him a snack of theirs. They're like, take my chocolate. You have a friend. I'm your friend.
I guess they forgot that he was homeschooled.
Yeah, they forgot. So, Yena, she sees this, and every time Yena does anything that's just neutral, like not even mean to him, the whole class is against her. They're like, wow, you should be ashamed of yourself, Yena, for hurting that poor boy's heart. But anyway, so as Dove and Yena decide to start dating each other, Dove knows very quickly that this may not be the best decision, but he can't really help it at this point. He really does have a lot of love for Yena. And then he starts to get worried because they're in this relationship and she says that she loves him too, but he's not ascending and becoming an angel. So he goes, well, maybe she's lying. Mm-hmm. Maybe she doesn't feel love, or maybe there's something to this ascension that I don't understand. So he's trying to think back on everything that his professor taught him, and he's just kind of a space case. He doesn't remember almost anything. He goes, I just remember my professor telling me how good the human food was. My professor loved ramen. And so he goes, I don't know. But Yena is very quick to admit to everybody that she's really happy in her relationship. Jihan asks her if she's happy with his brother, and she says, yes, I'm super happy. And Taehi asks, and she's like, yeah, shut up, friend. I know you told me to date him, and you were right. And finally, this old flame of hers comes back, and he was almost emotionally abusive. He distanced her from all of her friends, and even her parents, when this character, his name is Seungwoo, when he comes back into the picture, even her parents go, you historically have terrible taste in men. So we kind of just thought you'd get back with Seungwoo when we knew he was coming back into town. And you find out that this character also has a guardian angel. And his guardian angel, Aziel, is the person who bullied Dove the most in the celestial world.
Oh, no.
So not only is Dove trying to avoid all of the relationship turmoil of an ex-flame trying to approach Yena that Yena doesn't want around, but he also can see the guardian angel hovering over this guy and kind of helping him through all of these scenarios. And so as you watch them, the angel Aziel helps them to cheat at a field day and tries to turn everything in Seungwon's favor. And you see Dove trying to play fair and square, and he and Yena and their team end up winning at the field day anyways. But you find out that Aziel's mortal partner, he isn't trying to get back with Yena. He just wants to be able to say he's sorry. And you learn that he's been haunted by ghosts his entire life, and he was possessed when all of these like dark things were happening within their relationship and their friendship that caused a bunch of distance. So the happiness that he's searching for is just to reconcile all of those hurt feelings that he made her have and apologize for everything that he did. And Yena won't give him the time of day. So Yena is really not wanting to meet up with him. And after Aziel pulls Dove aside, Aziel admits that she was just jealous of Dove for being such a loving person and being different because he stood out. And so Aziel apologizes for all of the turmoil and all of the hurt that she caused. And in return, Dove ends up working with Yena to get Seungwoo and Yena together so that he can apologize. And in that moment, you see Aziel ascends. But what no one realized is that when this happens, all of your ties to this mortal world are cut and you can't be with that person anymore. And Aziel had feelings and it had at least grown an affection for Seungwoo, who now doesn't even remember that Aziel existed.
Mm-hmm.
So you just see Aziel watching as Seungwoo's like, oh, I don't know how I got here. And all of the memories of the two of them together are gone in an instant. And so Dove starts getting really afraid. He goes, I don't think I want to ascend at all. Like, I don't think I can do this. I can't leave Yena. I love her and care about her and I want to stay here. And Yena doesn't even know that he's a guardian angel. So he's just really wanting to be there for her. And he even asks his professor, he goes, how can I stay? Like, how can I just be a human? And his professor goes, you can't. Like, you have your certain limited celestial powers right now, but once you become an angel, you have to cut those ties. And you could potentially live here for your life as like half celestial being, half mortal, but that would mean you're never going to make your partner happy. So just keep that, grain of salt. And so he's really conflicted about the entire thing. You see that Jihan is okay with their relationship and he can tell how close Yena and Dove have gotten. Yena has even brought him home to meet her parents, and the dad has a terrible first impression of Dohwa. He starts questioning him, and Dohwa had been hugging Yena in the rain, and the father goes, how dare you do this display of affection out in public? She's a child.
Oh my gosh.
And he goes, what are your intentions with my daughter? And Dohwa, in his innocent mind, remembers that Yena and Taehi were like, you shouldn't talk super openly about your relationship unless it's somebody that's really close to you. So you should keep it, close to the chest. And he goes, can't tell you, sir. It's a secret. And that obviously puts a bad taste in the dad's tongue. But when he goes home to meet the family, the mom is immediately taken with him. She goes, what are your intentions with Yena? She usually has really bad taste in men. And Dohwa goes, I want to see her happy. Like, above all else, I love everything she does. She's such an amazing and inspiring person. I just can't even describe how I feel when I'm able to help contribute to her smiling. And the mom is like, oh my God, like, just marry her already. And, just like all the other classmates who go, they're the perfect couple. So Dowa and Yena end up going on this date to kind of an amusement park, almost like a fair. And as they're on this date, Yena and Jihan kiss. And Yena goes to take him to a different carnival ride. And you just see Dowa's face, and he's just never been happier. And he goes, "You are my happiness." And in that moment, he turns into an angel and disappears.
Oh my gosh.
Yena immediately has no idea. She goes, "How did I get here? Was I here with someone?" And she calls her friend, and her friend says, "You said you were going by yourself." And his memory is erased from everybody. And Yena, like the next few days, she just is going around feeling like something is missing. She's like, "It just doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm forgetting something or someone really important. And it just feels like there's something lacking." So she keeps calling in and going to the nurse's office. She's like, "I have a headache. Can I lay down?" And she hears Ms. Jin, who is this teacher of her class, going, "Yeah, Jihan asked me if I remembered anything about Do Wa Seo." And Yena hears the name and she goes, "I don't know that name, but I know it." And so she's trying so hard to remember if this is the person she needs to. And so she approaches Jihan and she says, "Who is this? Why does this name sound familiar? I don't know this person, but it feels like I've known them my whole life." And Jihan kind of just explains the entire situation to her. Says, "He was your guardian angel, and unfortunately, because he succeeded in making you happy, he had to go to the celestial realm as an angel. Like, all ties were cut." And she just starts praying that he'll come down. She's like, "Please, he made me happy. I want to make him happy." And like, she's crying, and Dowa is right there. Like, Dove is watching over her as an angel. He's in the mortal realm, and it's physically hurting him to be apart from the celestial realm, but he's like watching her intently and refuses to leave her side. He's like, "I don't care if I disappear. Like, I want to be here with her." So he stays, and the professor says, "I will give up and disappear myself for you to be back with her." And he has his own tragic story of how he kind of failed his human, and he just wants Dove to be happy. And so he does. He uses all of his power to basically make Dowa into a full-fledged human. And they immediately embrace each other, and it is the most adorable and romantic and just cutest thing I've ever seen. You also get super cute side stories where you do finally get to see who Jihan's person is, because you never really find out throughout the story why Jihan is just posing as a student and working really hard in class. And you find out that his person is Ms. Jin, the teacher. And the reason that he's working so hard to be a student is because he wants her to feel fulfilled in her job. And so it is just the cutest thing. As much as he plays it off that he hates these humans, he just works so hard to make sure that she's content and happy. And you just see that Yena and Doha have like the most beautiful relationship throughout the entire thing. It is so sweet from start to finish. I love every character in it. And it did make me genuinely tear up at specific parts.
Oh my gosh. It kind of reminds me, just on a very basic level, of Devil Number 4.
Yes, it does. It really is similar. And if you did read Devil Number 4 and you liked it, I would say definitely give this one a go.
Yeah.
You do have like another week to read this one. So, you know, if you're ambitious like I was, I think I read it in 2 days. 104 episodes is nothing to, you know, sneer at, but I will say it goes by really quickly.
Yeah.
So, all the fluff.
That's great. I have a not so great story for us now. Well, it is a great story, but it is a sad story.
Okay.
Very fitting that you told both candy sweet stories and I'm telling heartbreaking tragic stories.
It fits.
Yes.
Fits the mold.
So this is called Wild Dog Misfire. This was on my New Year's resolution list for last year as well. So again, a push to read this one. It's leaving on October 26th, and it is 46 episodes. It's an action drama.
Ooh.
I love this one. So we start off on a really funny note. We see Ji-sang. He is a detective, and he is on the chase. He's chasing down a car, and you see him talking to, like, his team, and he ends up crashing his car into the other car that he was chasing to get this lady to stop.
So on purpose?
On purpose.
Okay.
It turns out that she was not who he thought she was. And so she was just a citizen that is now getting hit by a cop and was in a chase. And he tries to justify it, saying, well, she jaywalked. So, you know, I had no choice.
No one's really innocent in the end.
So, but this, you know, of course, causes a lot of chaos for the department. So he ends up getting demoted. And when he's demoted, they basically tell him, you're going to go undercover for these bombings that have been happening. They make it sound like all great, like he's going to take care of this bigger case, when in reality, the bombings were of the chief's wife's urns. So it's kind of like a nothing case. They're just pushing him away. And he does kind of realize this. He's like, okay, I'm being pushed away. And he's not super happy about that. So he gets on the phone with his sister, Ji-sun, and he realizes he was supposed to meet her for dinner. He's all the way across town. His car is totaled.
I wonder how that happened.
Yeah. He's got all of his stuff because he's been kicked out of his office. And he is about to be late to meet his sister. His sister is moving to England soon, so he wants to get together with her before she moves. So he kind of mows down this guy who is getting into a cab and says, hey, I need this cab. Like, we can share it, but I need this cab. And so they end up getting into the cab, both of them, and they both tell the cab driver they're going to the same city. So, and then even further than that, once they get closer, they both tell him that they're going to the same restaurant. So while they're on their like 40-minute drive, Ji-sang kind of says what he's doing. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to meet my sister. She's going to England. She is so smart. I love her. Like, you know, just he's proud older brother. He loves his sister.
Aww.
And the other guy is saying, oh, that's cool, but my girlfriend's going to England, so she's probably better than your sister. And so they're kind of having this little argument about it. They get out at the restaurant, and you see the guy who we now know is Junggo. He goes up to Ji-sang's sister and says, this is my girlfriend.
Oh my gosh, so awkward.
So right off the bat, making good impressions on both sides.
Yeah, they're just really winning today.
They go into the restaurant. Both of them have an unspoken agreement that they're not going to say what happened. They both love her. They don't want any drama. They're just going to pretend that they've met each other. But there is tension in the air. You find out that Junggu knew that he was going to meet Ji-sun's brother, but Ji-sang didn't know that he was going to meet Ji-sung's boyfriend. And the reason is because she thought that he would not come if she said the true purpose of this gathering. So they're having their awkward meal, and then it comes out because Ji-sang just can't let it go. He's upset about his work, his car, everything. And he ends up spilling the whole story to his sister and her boyfriend that he has been demoted. He has to move to a different city. He lost his car, so he took a cab. And his sister is like, this is great. You can move in with Junggu while I'm gone in England. And she...
Oh my gosh.
I know. She forces it. They're both like, I don't know about that. And then she kind of tells Ji-sang, well, if you didn't want help, why did you tell me about this?
Dang. She's really good about laying down the law.
Yeah, she lays down the law. So he finally agrees. He very reluctantly agrees to go move in with Jungkook.
Who he's met only in a cab ride and now at dinner.
Yeah, who he's had a very bad first impression with.
Super solid prospect.
So he is trying to avoid Jungkook at all times. He stayed out at an internet cafe all night so that he wouldn't have to come home and talk to his sister's boyfriend. Dedication. So while he's there, he's like, okay, I'm going to make good use of my time. I'm just going to print off a bunch of stories about the bombings that were happening, these 2 small bombings. So he prints off a stack, like a thick stack of papers, and he takes them to his room. He ends up leaving to go out to get some food, and Jungkook comes into his room and wants to see if he is available to eat together or hang out. He's like really trying to make this work between them.
That's
because
sweet.
Yeah, he loves Jisun and really wants to marry her. And so he's like, this is going to be my brother-in-law. I need to make nice.
Yeah.
So he sees the very thick stack of papers on the desk in Jisang's room, and he goes up and he is like, okay, I need to tell him that he can use the printer here because that must have cost him a fortune to print off at the internet cafe. And he picks up the papers and he sees that they're all about these bombings that happened, and he starts to get nervous about
Why would he
this.
get nervous?
Why would he get nervous? Because he used to be a bomb maker and sell bombs.
What the fuck? I love it so much.
It's so good. I love it.
I'm like, why would
one.
he get twitchy?
Yeah. So then we see that another bomb happens like in a school classroom, and it's a smaller one, but they're starting to get bigger. And this is when we kind of see that Jungkook is being targeted by this person he doesn't know who it is, who he made bombs for, who bought bombs from him in the past, and is trying to get him to make bombs again. So he's kind of threatening. He's saying, if you don't make more bombs for me, then I'm going to blow up all these different places. He does a place on campus, and then he does like a hospital and all of that, all because Jungkook is like, I'm not gonna meet with you. I'm not gonna do any of this. He's trying to put this behind him. He's like, I'm a different person.
Now I'm with Jisun.
I'm with Jisun, and I'm finally happy. And you're coming to ruin this for me, and it's not gonna happen. So he tries to ignore it. But he does get his friend Manju, who is kind of like the computer behind the scenes tech person, and she is trying to figure out who this guy is as well, who is the bomb maker. He has an idea of who it is based on his records that he kept. He kept very meticulous records of the people who bought his bombs. So he's having her try and figure out what's going on. He does go and not meet up with the bomber, but he goes to the place that the bomber tells him to go to. And he's thinking, okay, how do I figure out who it is without him seeing me? And so he texts him and says that he's there, and he's just looking around trying to see who's on their phone to see who it is. And while he's doing this, the bomber starts yelling like, where are you? And like just yelling out like, if you're here, why aren't you coming to talk to me? And like people around him are looking at him like he's crazy, because he might be.
Just a little bit.
Gotta say though, he's pretty cute.
Get better, idols.
I did think that throughout this, and it's actually really funny because Manju, she says this as well. She calls him Hottie as his nickname. So she's like, I know he's a bomber, but he's pretty cute.
I mean, he dropped a bomb on me.
Yeah. So he finds the address of the person who, like, where he sold the bombs to. Like, this is the address that he's going to. So he's like, great, I'm going to go to this address. It's all going to work out. So he goes to this address. It is now a macaron shop called Cat Karan. And it's a cat-themed macaron shop.
Delicious.
Yeah. They are delicious. Everyone says so.
Just an aside.
Just an aside.
They're delicious macarons.
So he buys a whole bunch, and he's trying to talk to the people who are working there and say, like, oh, did this used to be a house? He's trying to just get information on it. And so he realizes that this person who owns the cat Karan, and this guy who is screaming is the same person. So he's made the connection. Oh my gosh, the Cat Karan guy is the bomber. So now he knows who it is. And we see that they just kind of continue to go on because Jungkook does not know what to do. He doesn't want to give in to the bomber and make more bombs for him, but he also doesn't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
So he's kind of in a pickle.
Just a little pickle.
Just a little bit.
And you know we love pickles.
Yes. So Jisang sees Jungkook at the place where these bombs went off in a like YouTube video basically. And Munju gets this video taken down, but it's too late. We all know if it's on the internet, it's there forever.
Yeah.
So he goes to Jungkook and says, hey, you were there. Do you know anything? What can we do? And he kind of says, no, he doesn't. So they end up going back to this cat cafe, the Cat Karan. And Jisang and Jungkook are just getting some macarons because Jisang is like, these were great when you brought them home before. We just need a whole bunch more. So they go there, and then he sees that the bomber is there as well. So Jungkook does not know what to do. He's like, okay, I just gotta act normal. Everything's fine. Jisang is picking out all the macarons, then we'll just leave. And that's not what happens. So they're at the shop. They're just picking out their orders. The top order is Oreo.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. And when he does this, a bomb goes off in the back room. So Jisang is kind of like, this is great because this is my case.
Live. Yeah.
Live. So he ends up taking the bomber into the hospital to kind of get his injuries taken care of. And he really wants to interview the bomber, who he doesn't know is the bomber. He just thinks is the cafe owner. So then we see, because things have escalated so much, the department who sent him here as a punishment is like, okay, things are getting serious. We can't have him on this case anymore because he's not a good detective. They send in Seung-hee, and she basically takes the case over from him and says, you cannot be a part of this anymore. Go home. And he doesn't want to listen to this. Jisang is like, no, this is my case. I was given it, and I'm going to continue to work on this. And Seung-hee is basically just like, you need to stay out of it. If I see you in here, I'm going to cause issues for you. So he kind of starts doing things on his own, just like under the radar. Then we kind of see what got Jungkook started making bombs. And it all started in high school. So
I did not see that coming.
Yeah. It comes out that he has hurt people 3 times with bombs that he's made. The first time was his high school teacher. He didn't like him, so he put a bomb in his car as a joke, and it did not go well. The teacher ended up getting hurt.
Not so funny.
Not so funny. So he does this goes on his record, but it ends up being sealed because he was a juvenile. So the second time is Detective O, who is Seung-hee's uncle. He is working on the bomb case, and as he's working on this case, a bomb gets him. He ends up leaving the force.
Oh my gosh.
And the third person is Hyo-min Lee. We don't know who he is.
Okay. I was like, I don't know.
I just wanted to see. Yeah.
Pause for dramatic effect.
Pause for dramatic effect. We don't know who he is yet.
And to trick Annie.
And to trick Annie. You will find out, though.
I hope so.
Yeah. So we see that the bomber ends up blackmailing the vlogger who put this original video up to put up a new video of Jungkook confronting him and hitting him with a brick. So...
Oh my gosh.
He's trying to build a case against Jungkook and make him look like everything is his fault.
He has the history.
He has the history. No one knows who this bomber is.
And yeah, Jungkook's not helping him.
Yeah. They continue to work on this case. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing and not working together because no one likes each other. And Seung-hee ends up confronting Ji-sang and saying, I know that you're still working on this case, so you need to lay off. And she tells him, I know that you're living with Jungkook, who is a suspect in this case. And Ji-sang tells her there's no way it was him. The profile of his bombings does not match the profile of the bombings that are happening, so there's no way. And Seung-hee says, I don't care. I'm going to pin it all on him anyways. We need someone. Like, she doesn't say this outright, but she's basically saying, I'm going to pin it on him. We need someone to arrest for the public.
Yeah.
And we know that he has a criminal past, so it's fine. As long as we get the criminals, it doesn't matter if they actually did the crime that we got them for.
That is the worst sentiment.
Yeah. She's not great.
Yeah. No, doesn't sound like it.
Nope.
She's just got her personal vendetta fueling her since her father was involved.
Yeah. So, back at the house, Ji-sang and Jung, they have a fight. They're just getting angry with each other because Ji-sang is saying, you are not good enough for my sister. You made bombs in the past. You may not be making them anymore, but you did all of this, and I don't care if you say you're a new person. And Jungkook says, I love your sister. I want to start over with her. And they just kind of have this fight. They go back to their apartment. And who's there? Ji-sun. She comes back. And she is excited to hang out with her brother and her boyfriend. She's like, this is going to be great. We're all going to hang out. And you see that Jungkook and Ji-sang end up sleeping in the same room, so that Ji-sun can have her own room.
Oh my gosh.
And they're still kind of bickering about what's
going to...
It could have... no. Not this one.
Not enemies to lovers?
No. They're still kind of bickering.
Yeah.
Over all of this, and Ji-sang is not moving. He says, this is it.
He's not going to budge.
Yeah, he's not budging. So... we find out the reason that Ji-sun came home early is because she's pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
So this kind of changes everything, but also nothing, because Ji-sang is still like, you are not going to be the uncle to my... You better
not be.
Oh man. You are not going to be the father to my nephew.
There we go.
Yeah. So, just problems all around.
Yeah, lots of drama.
And they're trying to figure out what happened in the past and why Sergeant O, who is the one who got bombed before, why he left the case. So they go and they talk to him, and they find out that he was kind of pushed out by Seung-hee. So he was forced off the force. And...
That was cute.
Thank you. So, Ji-sun finds out that Jungkook is a bomb maker because Ji-sang tells her. And she is mad at both of them because they've both deceived her at this point.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what to do, and she takes all of her stuff and she leaves. And as she's leaving, she says, do not try and contact me or you will never hear from me again. So she goes to a spa.
Good for her.
Yeah. And unfortunately, she does end up having a miscarriage while she's there. So, very sad.
That's a lot of stress.
Yeah. It was just a lot of stress. It was very early on.
Yeah.
So, it just was heartbreaking for her. So... Manju gets a package because the bomber knows that she's been working in the background to find information about him. We see that he has not the amount of bombs that they think he has. They thought he started off with 14. He has dozens of bombs. So they're a little concerned.
Yeah. As one would be.
Yes. So Manju sees a box of macarons. We're back to there. A box of macarons on her like doorstep. She is like, oh my gosh, I love these. This is great. So she goes to pick them up and it's a bomb and it explodes in her face. So she ends up going to the hospital and she lives. Okay. But she has to go to the hospital to take care of this. Everyone kind of goes to be around her. Ji-sang, Ji-sun, Junggu, and Detective O. They all kind of go to see what's going on. Then they leave and, continue on with all their stuff. And Manju gets a visitor. A visitor named the Bomber. We don't know his name.
I was like, wow, they haven't looked into him as a suspect at all with such an inconspicuous name.
It really doesn't tell you his name.
Wow.
That's the reason I've been calling him the Bomber the whole time.
I get it.
Yeah.
Builds the suspense.
You find out his name at the very end.
Okay.
So, but for now, you don't know.
Okay.
So the Bomber tells her, you need to give me all of the ledgers so that I can get rid of the evidence that I bought these bombs from Junggu in the past. And then he gives her a box of macarons. And he says, don't worry, they're real this time. And then leaves.
I don't know that I'd eat them.
So she tells everyone that this happened, and they decide that the way to get ahead in this is Seung-hee, they know that she's on the warpath, that she is trying to pin everything on Junggu. They know the Bomber is close to just chaos everywhere. So they decide the best course of action is to come out with a public statement where Junggu basically confesses to his crimes and says, but I'm being blackmailed by this anonymous man, and he is trying to get bombs from me now. He's the Bomber now. So this kind of works, but it kind of backfires because then, of course, they are trying to arrest Junggu. And we kind of have a quick jump back. This is where we find out who Hyo-min Lee is. He used to be friends with Junggu in high school, and he was a little bit of the pushing factor for some of these bomb makings. So after Junggu had his accidental bomb, I mean, it wasn't an accidental bomb, but he didn't mean for it to be like actually to hurt the teacher. So after that, his friend, Hyo-min Lee, says, okay, here's what you got to do. You have to get rid of his whole family. And you have to, bomb all these. You have to bomb Detective O. And he's the one he does bomb Detective O. They, do it together. And then he ends up killing Hyo-min Lee and with a bomb because he doesn't want to work with him anymore. So that's the three people who he's hurt. And so then we also find out who the Bomber is. The Bomber is Ju-won Lee. He is the son of the teacher who was bombed in high school.
Oh my gosh.
So a little bit of he's trying to get revenge. That's why he's going after Junggu. And he's a little bit unstable.
So he kind of has a little too much fun with being evil.
Yeah, it is what it is. So
we're just going to brush right past that.
Yeah. It all comes to a head when they meet at a park and the Bomber hires that same vlogger, blackmails that same vlogger to record what's happening. And he tells Junggu to meet him there. And Jungkook comes with Jisang and Jisun and Detective O. They're all together. And so they all come. And it looks like from far above where the vlogger is that Jungkook is just attacking this man, this poor man that no one knows about, other than they've seen the other video of him getting beat up. So that's what it looks like. And Seung-hee is like, this is perfect. We're going to arrest Jungkook, and he'll be blamed for everything. And the bomber has the same idea. He's like, okay, I'm going to blame, you need to take credit for all of this, or I'm going to blow up everything right here. There's bombs all around us. So Jungkook ends up agreeing and saying, okay, I'll take the blame for everything. You just need to give me the controller. So he takes the controller for the bomb, and he goes arms up to the police, and he says, I won't bomb, like I won't set off these bombs. You can take me in. Everything is my fault. And Seung-hee is like, that's not good enough. We need the bombs. So she sets off the bombs herself because she wants a bigger statement. She doesn't get away with this. So then we kind of see the ending. Jisang was injured there, and Jisun was not. And Jungkook also was not injured. They were far enough away, but Jisang was closer back to where the bombs were, so that's why he's injured. And then we see Jungkook talking to Detective O, who has come back to the force now that his niece is gone. And he's saying, he's trying to talk Jungkook into talking to Jisang before he goes into prison, because he still has to go to prison. He built these bombs. Yeah. And so he basically says, no, I'm not going to do that. I think that it would be, I don't think that he would want to talk to me now. And that's where it leaves. That's it. Gosh. No happy ending.
Oh my gosh. You read some really enthralling stories.
I highly, highly, highly recommend both of them.
Yeah.
They were so good, so heartbreaking, and really engaging.
I mean, honestly, they all sound beautiful.
Yeah. So if you're looking for candy sweet, read Annie's stories. If you're looking for heartbreak, read Alex's stories.
As we can usually say.
Per the usual.
Yeah. But no, I honestly, Wild Dog Misfire has been on my list for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to get to it before it leaves, because I'll be really sad if I miss out on it.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely have to get that one a go. But thank you all so much for joining us today, reading some of these Leaving Soon titles. If you have your Manta subscription, definitely wanting to flag that these titles will be leaving either within this month or the next. So definitely give these a read. They are some solid stories. There were also some other stories within the list that you can take a look at as well. Some of them were incomplete series, so we didn't feel like it would be best to talk through those since, you know, we wouldn't be able to give a full story. But definitely take a look through what might be leaving soon. Make sure you're getting the most out of your subscription. And we're looking forward to talking to you on the next one.
Goodbye. Bye.